ChatGPT is not going to help you. We suck. We suck, and there's another girl, there's another guy who is doing better. It's sad. Hello, my intelligent ladies and gentlemen. Today I'm going to share my experience and view on if the grades really matter. My brain subconsciously gave me the answer a long time ago that they really don't. But it's hard to believe your mind if you have different views, if you have pressure from society. And today I'm going to give you just some of the arguments, let's say food for your thought, and then you will make your own conclusion. First of all, there is different perception of grades depending when you're studying, right? So in your middle school, you probably don't pay a lot of attention to your grades unless you're forced to. Mostly you're forced by society, by your own standards, by your parents. And the main tool for this pressure is comparison. I will not tell you how comparison is so detrimental for your mental health, right? In many areas of your life, but I know how hard it can be. Especially if you were born in Eastern Europe, you have this privilege of always being compared to someone who is better. And trust me, there is always someone who is better. It's impossible to always be the best of the best because it's illusion, okay? No one is ideal. But our parents, mostly, yes, but our teachers as well, they think that they are trying to help our progress. They try to motivate us to work harder by saying that we suck. We suck, and there's another girl, there's another guy who is doing better, so why cannot I do better as well? Well, it takes a lot of years for you to finally let it go, not be afraid of not living up to someone's expectations. I know it sounds really easy, but trust me, when you grew up just a little bit, it will pass away. Second stage of your studying process, let's say, is your high school. You actually do focus on your grades if you're ambitious and you're trying to get to the better, higher institution, and you know that rank is important. Regardless if you're going to get a scholarship and study for free, so you need to be on the very top of the rank, or you're just trying to get the permission to access a certain university, you need to stand out. Grades is mostly the main tool how you can prove that you're better. Of course, the grades is not the best indicator of your intelligence, but it's a very common measurement and comparison tool. Let's just live with it. We can take some advantages of it, right? It's actually what happened to me. I did my best for 2 years at the end of my high school to prepare myself for the main exam that is going to test your knowledge on specific subjects that you choose. If I'm not going to be engineer, I'm not studying hard for physics. It doesn't make sense a lot. And also, it's something really good to remind you of. Always set a priority. School is actually a very specific experience you get. It helps you to see what you like, your interests, yes, your advantages, and your weaker areas. And you should not try to be perfect at every subject you're trying to learn. Of course, school gives you opportunity to develop many skills, but it's better to focus on some of them and master them more rather than you try to focus on all of them simultaneously and get the medium results in every subject. But of course, it's up to you to decide. So when you're in the high school, grades can serve you as some discipline, some motivation, okay? So if you're trying your best to pass important exam and then access some university, then it's just a good experience. Work hard. If you organize yourself, if you push yourself to do some homework, even if you don't want to, you practice your discipline and it pays back. But it's important to understand that you're doing it for some goal. So my goal was to pass final exams really good so that I can study for free at the university of my choice. However, you should be realistic and firstly check if you have the chance to receive scholarship or receive the opportunity to study for free, because it's not how the system works in some countries. You should not be delusional. But of course, I want to do the note right now that learning something is not only for the sake of passing the exams. I know it's obvious, but you actually learn something to develop certain abilities, whatever it can be. You can develop your analytical skills, you can learn how to see certain patterns, so develop your logical side of the brain. But of course, you can also improve your creativity, interpersonal skills, especially if you have a lot of team projects or whatever. Learning something is the process of seeing how you can do something in different ways, what the result is going to tell you, and why do you actually need it. So imagine you forgot the formula while passing the test. It doesn't matter unless you know the formula is used for certain goal, and when you see the formula, you can use it. So you know what values to insert and what the result is actually going to tell you. All your knowledge and skills are just given to you to make your life easier and to make certain decisions based on certain analysis, calculation, and your own thoughts. You should never ever try to memorize something by heart if you fail to understand the true meaning of it. It's sad. It's sad when people are learning the same stuff for many years and in the end they don't know how to connect all the dots in the analysis because they fail to understand each of the components of that analysis on their own. ChatGPT is not going to help you. It gives very, very basic answers. And if you want to give a comprehensive and holistic answer and view on certain matter, you need to do your own analysis. Okay, but now let's talk about university time. Do the grades matter when you're actually obtaining your specialization? Luckily, my perfectionism was lower when I started to study at university, but still I had some beliefs that were not true. The first one was exuberant importance of some subjects. I thought that if I chose this specialty, I need to learn everything that is connected to it. But guess what? You really don't. You should first of all focus on those parts that interest you the most, and out of that, you can dive deeper and learn more stuff. Secondly, I had the belief that employees look at your average score after you graduate from university. I mean, it's actually true. Some employees do pay attention to it, as well as many organizations, workshops. They want to enroll only those who has the highest grades. But you should realize that it's very limited amount of employees, organizations, and other establishments. So you should not really limit yourself for certain employees unless you know that that's the employee of your dream. You will never have employee of your dream, by the way. If you know that that's the one, okay, maybe you should focus on your grades. But again, I think the main reason employees are focusing on the average grade is because you don't have any other tool of comparison among all the students that graduated. Lucky news, it can be fixed if you actually take part in some projects that contribute to your advantages. If you spend time by learning some skills that is essential for your position. So do your job ahead and be prepared to stand out not by your average grades, but for some additional skills that you got. And the last limiting belief I had is that I should focus only on my studies because I received scholarship. I was so thrilled by the fact that I can receive literally any money for just studying. I was receiving scholarship for about 2 years, but you know what? The scholarship for 1 month in Ukraine was less than $50. It's very little money, okay, but I didn't know that. I was a student who didn't learn the value of money at that point of time, and I was so proud of myself that I can still get those $50. And of course, universities have different grading system, but I think in most of cases there are certain assignments that are for extra points. You are not obliged to complete those assignments unless you want to show up as the most dedicated student and to receive a higher grade. And of course I can be mistaken, but I think the main motivation of students is to receive a higher grade and not to develop a better understanding on a particular subject. So if you take that time that you spend on receiving those extra points and actually work at that time, trust me, you will receive more than a scholarship. Scholarship is a small incentive for you to study, but it's never enough for your actual living and satisfying your needs. There are two negative sides on focusing on grades too much that I didn't cover yet. The first one is attaching your grades as something external to your inner value. But I wouldn't really focus on it today a lot because it goes not only for grades but for everything that is external. Because whenever you focus on something outside of your personality as the main factors of your value, of your esteem, you will fail. Okay, but that's the topic for a separate video and I will definitely make one. But the second negative effect is very tricky and it's called ego. Ego is how you want to see yourself. If I want to see myself as a very successful student with high grades, I will desperately run away from everything that can ruin this perception. So my main motivation for spending long hours trying to receive higher grades than others is just to prove to myself that I am the best, that I am better than others. On the other side, let me tell you a short story how ego played to my benefit when I was in high school. In my 9th grade, my English was very poor and I couldn't even make a sentence. But then I needed to switch classes and I got a new teacher of English. She was more demanding than my previous teacher and eventually I started to receive very low grades. And as you might guess, I didn't get used to receive low grades. Because I always wanted to have a perception of me as a successful student and attaching my grades to success was the easiest path. My ego was so desperate to reclaim the status of a successful student that I didn't have a chance but to actually start learning the subject. To cut a long story short, I did learn the language, I received a higher grade, also I gained the respect from my teacher, I increased my self-confidence because now I know that I can learn any skill if I actually put enough effort. But most importantly is that I still have the skill and English helps me a lot. And that was it for today. I hope that you maybe got some insight. If yes, then please let me know in the comments down below. And of course, I'm interested if the grades matter for you and when you realized they don't. See you next time. Bye.